now we're gonna do the other leg. Now we know not to grab as much gum paste as the first time because we don't need it. We don't need that much. So this plus a little bit more might be enough. That might be enough right there for our second leg. You guys can make the leg, you know, sticking straight out just like the first one, or if you want to make, you know, give them a cuter position and give them a little bent leg the way I'm going to, you of course can do that as well. You don't need a lot of shortening, okay? Just enough to smear on your hands. You want to make sure when you roll out this second leg that it is the same thickness as your first leg, okay? Rolling it out as I'm looking at my first leg and I'm looking at this to make sure that it's going to be the right size. A little bit too thick. Remember, you're going to leave one end kind of fat so we can squash it down for the foot. That looks about right, okay? I'm going to squash this end a little bit for the foot. Going to push it up. I'm going to imprint or, you know, make the toes with this tool here. One, two. Okay, and I am going to again see how long I need it. So it should be the same length as the first leg, right about there. Take your blade, cut off what you're not going to use. Okay, now this leg here is going to be bent, like I said, so I'm going to give him a little bent shape here. That's about how he's going to go. Okay, so before I glue this in, we're going to give it a fur technique. Again, the shape was distorted a little bit, so just put your foot back the way it should go. You can remark your toes if you have to. Okay. All right, so he's going to be bent leg. Okay, again, take some glue. Add a little bit of glue on the end of your leg. Add a little bit of glue around the outside of the part that's going to go into the hole in the torso. And I like to add just a little bit of glue in the hole. You don't need to put glue on the toothpick, okay? So it's going to go at an angle, so I'm going to first put the toothpick right in the center of the leg, and I'm going to push it in, making sure that the leg goes into the hole. Okay, and then I'm going to bend his little leg and get it into the shape I want. That looks pretty cute. Okay, and then of course, just from touching it, some of the fur went down, so just gently and very lightly go over it again. Okay, so there he is with his little bent leg. Okay, so onto Elmo's arms. You're going to take a small bowl's worth of gum paste, a little bit of shortening. We're going to work the cracks and wrinkles out. And basically you're doing the same thing as you did for the leg. You're just going to roll out a worm. And of course the arms are going to be a little bit thinner than the legs, leaving one end a little bit fat so that we can squash it down to give Elmo his hand. Okay, so that looks about the right width and thickness for Elmo's arm. Okay, I'm going to squash down one end, and that's going to be the part for the hand. Okay, Elmo has only 4 fingers, so he's got 1 thumb and 3 fingers. So you take your ball tool, not your ball tool, sorry, this sharp tool, and you press in to one side and you lift. That gives him his thumb, and shape it. Okay, and then the fingers, you do the same way you did the toes. You're just going to mark inward. Okay, and then you turn it on the other side and give him his fingers on the other side. Okay, it's that simple. And of course these will lose their shape a little bit when you start giving them his fur, so you can always rework them. Okay, let's calculate more or less how long it needs to be. So I'm going to want his hand to be laying about right there. So this is the way I figure out the length. Right about there. So I just mark the end where I'm going to cut off, and I cut that part off. There's my arm. Okay. So now all you do is just pinch the end so you can get rid of the straight edge that you just made with your blade, and you're going to pinch it so that it can lay flat up against the side of Elmo's body. Okay, now I'm going to take my tip that I use for the fur, and I'm going to give his arm fur. Don't worry about the back part, that's going to be up against the body. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to put edible glue just on the back of his hand and the back of his arm. Just the parts that are going to be touching the torso. If you wanted Elmo's arms to be sticking up and out, you know, kind of like a happy birthday pose, or, you know, with his arms stretched out, then you could use toothpicks or skewers to hold the arms up. Okay, so there I've got glue all along the back side. I'm going to first put the little hand where I want it, right about there. And try to make it look as natural as possible. You do want the shoulder here to come up over the neck, because this is also going to help hold your head up, okay? Make the arm, put it back in its original shape so that he looks normal. Okay. Sometimes clients ask me to have Elmo holding a number, so you could put the number right here and have the little arms coming up, you know, over the number. Glue it to the torso and then the little arms to the number. Alright, so just from pressing it down, again, I've lost some of my fur, so I'm just going to go back and relift. Now let's do the other arm pretty much the same way. Same amount of gum paste. ball that away. This is his left arm, so I'm going to give him his thumb for his left hand. Okay, now his fingers. I wish I had a camera right above me so you guys could see exactly the way I'm doing this, because I know you're not getting a complete view of everything that I'm doing. Okay, so there's his left hand, and we're going to now give him fur. Okay, that looks about enough, and then after I put it on him, then of course I'm going to rework the fur. Let me double check the length. That looks about right. Okay, so we're going to glue the back of the arm and the back of the hand, just the parts that are going to be touching the torso, and this little arm is going to be laying pretty much the same way as the first one. This is probably the simplest position you can get, right about there. Pinch the end down so that it's flush against the torso, or against the top of the head, I should say, the top of the neck. Give him a little wrist. Okay. Let me redefine my fingers. Alright, so I can see where I squashed down my fur, so I'm just going to rework it.